in parallel to that, cloud was just starting out and starting to look at moving some workloads to the cloud. So in 2008, I did the first ever Lotus Notes to Exchange Online migration that had ever been done. And it was a big learning curve for me. And I realized that some of the traditional points that I'd be looking at from a hardening perspective didn't really exist in the cloud at that point. I created a link list that got very popular, and I got kicked off of my local ISP because I used up all of their bandwidth. At that time, I had just learned to monetize my site. I had started selling some banner ads on it, and I was starting to make some money as like a 14-year-old, and talking like 20, $30 a day, got basically shut down. And there was no one able to do anything. All network traffic was bogged down and proliferated to every single machine. And the college had to literally, because it wasn't acceptable not to have internet in your room or have access for the students, had to kind of foot the remediation of this because they didn't have great segmentation in between all of the points back then.
So as you were learning and growing, and maybe let's talk about the first pivot into the software development side. What made you make that decision, and how did you go about deciding to do that?
So for me, continuous learning means saying yes to putting myself into uncomfortable situations, because I think that you learn best when you're under fire and being able to kind of push yourself, right? What's the V next? Go to the small booths, the ones that are in the back corner that are like, one person at, and it's usually the founder there, and ask them for a demo of their product, right? That's the stuff like is really kind of exciting.
What would you recommend for them as their starter for them to kind of get their teeth into and gain that experience so that that portfolio or repertoire to show their employer?
It's not necessarily going to create you a great, beautiful document with 100% facts. You have to come in knowing the facts, knowing what's right, give really comprehensive instructions to it. My advice for anyone who really wants to break into cybersecurity and make a big change is look at working with a consultancy, something that works with high volumes, lots of activities, looking at it where you have a supporting structure above you, which you can learn. Beauty of it is that, they're doing scale, right? And so they're creating a role that can work across 20 different customers in the year, 50 different customers. So you get lots of experience and you can learn what you like and what you don't like.
Consultancies are still taking the pipeline that they used to do, where they would bring in the college stuff, still totally green, when there's AI that can potentially mess with. They used to have a junior intern do.
First time I've ever seen that before. I've never seen a salesperson that ever wanted API access. Well, guess what they're building? They're building an agent. Security is essential, but it has to match the business need. And if it doesn't match the business need, then we're over trying, or we haven't, aligned to the business opportunity. I would highly doubt that there's any business app that's going to be purchased in the next year that doesn't have AI built into it.
Just thinking about it, with everyone having a computer in their hand, now you have that many attack surfaces that you have to try to protect, that many more exfiltration surfaces that you have to protect that you didn't have to buy 10 years ago. Now you have that at agentic scale to think about.
The LLM gives back a different response than what it's expecting, or someone's manipulated the LLM to do that. Now you have a different type of attack vector. So, we just keep seeing the surface expand, and really you need tools that can help, and you need AI, for security to help kind of bring those balls strictly the things that I need to focus on where it's aligned to my organizational risk.
Well,
we got to find ways to differentiate ourselves from AI, and especially when it comes to people skills, right? No one really loves to interact with AI. It does a job, right? So add the human element back in, and keep working on yourself.